3 p.m. then this afternoon. So, of course, the agenda does indeed continue. We're going to be crossing live to Griselda Lewis now, who's, of course, also with our colleague talking about the coronavirus update, of course. And apart from that, the arrival, of course, of those students from Wuhan in China, which, of course, is the epicenter of the coronavirus. And the arrival, of course, you've been watching throughout the day as the students came from the airport and, of course, traveling throughout Limpopo province. And of course, Sophie Mukwena was standing there with some of the residents of Limpopo. They're surrounding her, and of course wanting to see what's happening. We had seen earlier in the week some of the people from Limpopo complaining that Limpopo isn't a dumping ground, but at this point it does seem as though they've come around and indeed welcoming those students who are coming then from Wuhan in China. Let's cross then to Griselda Lewis. Griselda, where are you at this moment in time, and what exactly is happening? I do see that you're just standing behind some police vans here, heavy security, of course, no doubt, to protect, of course, those students who are coming from Wuhan. But what can you tell us? What new information do you have for us at this point?
All right, welcome back once again to the final area where the media is being allowed at this point. I'm going to ask my colleague Llewellyn Carstens just to walk with me just a little bit, just to show you the police contingent that is here. I think I can count about close to 10 to 14 police vehicles here at this stage that were accompanying, of course, the buses that were ferrying the South Africans to the ranch where they will be quarantined for 21 days. The media, of course, not being allowed beyond this point at this stage, and I'm told that they are just waiting for the South Africans to get settled inside the ranch before they're allowing us to get towards, I guess, the gates of this particular place. But I can certainly tell you the task that South Africa had set its sights on in terms of completion, this is complete now. The next phase, of course, will allow for the interministerial committee, together with the Health Department as well as the South African National Defence Force, who of course have locked down this area here behind me, for them to ensure now that those South Africans are tested over the next 21 days to obviously make sure that their health condition, or they did not pick up symptoms of the coronavirus here towards. I don't think they'll be too happy about me showing them on the screen at this point, but these are the men in blue who have been part of this operation. You would see largely towards right there in front of me. This is the road that leads to the ranch, so the media have been kept quite far away from that at this point. So in fact, just a few seconds ago I received an SMS from one of the South Africans who's on board that bus, and basically sending those emoticons of crying, which means that they are very excited to be in the country at this point. I know that SABC News will be chatting to some of the families of those who have returned here to South Africa today. You can stay tuned for that, but we're going to let you go right now, and we'll bring you updates later on here on SABC News. But this is the final mark for the media at this time, just a few kilometers away from the ranch itself, where at this moment now you will have those South Africans who have been evacuated from Wuhan, who are going to be settled now at the area, the quarantine zone, where they will be for 21 days. I'm going to hand it back to studio for now, and we'll cross to you much later in later bulletins. Stay tuned to SABC News for much more reaction on this moment.
All right, thank you very much indeed to Griselda Lewis. We're going to cross, of course, to Sophie Mukwena, who's with her in Limpopo, just stationed somewhere different, of course. Sophie, of course, as I mentioned earlier on, was with some residents of Polokwane there in Limpopo, and of course they seem to be quite jovial about the fact that our South Africans are back home from Wuhan in China. And of course, you would have heard there from Griselda Lewis the fact that there is quite a heavy police presence prisons and police guards so that no one can really go in and out of the ranch where, of course, the students will be based. And, of course, those in SANDF members that had gone to go and fetch them in Wuhan, China. So that is where they are at the moment. And as you can see, it doesn't seem as though there's anything to fear in terms of the virus spreading from that point. There is a very, very huge police presence there, and it doesn't seem as though anybody can go in and out around the ranch area there. Let's cross over then to